Hey everybody, it's Brandon from AGL, and today we're going to be talking about these Fat Shark goggle sets. We went into Oak Mountain Hobbies, our local hobby shop, to get some parts for our scratch build video and scratch build planes, and they surprised us with these goggles so we could do a quick review and let you guys know what the specs are on them. They've had customers come in the shop and they don't know what the Fat Shark goggles are all about and the differences between the sets of goggles, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Alright, the first set of goggles we're going to talk about is the Horizon VS 1100, and what they've done is they've taken a Fat Shark teleporter set and of course they've branded it with Horizon. It's got a built-in receiver, which is right here. Comes with a Immersion RC Spironet, the latest version of their antenna. A battery, it's a 760 milliamp 2-cell battery to power the goggles, and the common cables that the other Fat Shark goggles have, which is a head tracking cable and a cable that goes from the goggles to you can go to your monitor for your FPV monitor to display your video from the goggles to the monitor. Also comes with a cloth to clean them with. Some of the features, like I said a minute ago, has a built-in receiver, and it has what they call a digital head tracker. It doesn't work in exactly the same way as the Trinity or the older MiG head trackers from Fat Shark, but because it's a fixed camera, it operates, we believe, kind of like the Parrot drone's head tracking system, where it moves inside a fixed field of view from the camera to give you basically a simulated head tracking. It's got a 24-degree field of view on the LCDs, and all in all, it's a pretty neat little setup if you want to put it on like a very light airplane like the Micro Beast or the Micro Cub. And the reason that is because this is the camera setup. It's a very, very small FPV camera. It's got a built-in transmitter and a circularly polarized antenna attached all in one unit, and it's extremely light. So it's a neat little setup. One thing I'd caution about this is I've had to repair one of these for somebody already because the power cable going into the circuit board is very fragile. So it'd be good if you can build some stress relief in there and not pull it out. Let's see. It's a good starter set, but it's a little limited in field of view with that 24-degree field of view that the teleporter set has. But in one solution, right out of the box, you've got a camera, an antenna set, the goggles, and a battery, and you can literally plug it in and go. Alright, now we're going to talk about the what we think is kind of the next step up in the goggle range. This is the Attitude V2, and when I say it's a step up in almost every way over the Horizon set, the 1100s. The goggles themselves have a little smoother plastic finish on them. It's a slightly different shape. The teleporter set we just looked at is also just like the Predator sets in their form factor. But this also has a built-in receiver just like the previous set. The nice thing about this is it also has a built-in or an integrated Trinity head tracker, which is the newest head tracking system from Fat Shark. They started out with the MiG series all the way up to version 5. And pretty quickly after that, they brought out the Trinity, and the fidelity on the Trinity head tracker is phenomenal. It's really, really nice setup, and it's made to go hand in hand with this pan, tilt, and roll. It's also from Fat Shark. And literally, while you're sitting there, and let me also show you the camera. The pan and tilt mount is made for these cameras to snap right in, and what it'll do, you've got your pan, your tilt, and a roll servo. So as you turn your head, if you roll your head to the right, the camera will roll with you. And it's a pretty neat setup because you can look around your world as you're flying in the FPV world, and you can literally turn your head and look down, and you'll probably be able to look down the side of your aircraft as you're flying. It's a pretty neat experience. Some other upgrades on these goggles are they have a larger field of view. It's a 35-degree field of view versus the 24 from the teleporter V4. But it's similar in that you've got a button on top for your channel, whereas the other goggle had just a channel and a volume button. This has a joystick, which you can depress for channel and turn different ways, forward and back and side to side for your brightness and contrast controls. Just like the other set, you've got a headphone plug, and you also have your head tracking plug. Comes with just like the other set, a head tracking cable. This one's for Spectrum. And you have a diopter adjustment. So if you have a narrower eye or wider set eyes, you can adjust those. It's a pretty nice set. This particular goggle comes with a 1000 milliamp 2-cell battery, which is slightly larger than the other set. It does not come with the pan tilt roll though. It comes with, just like the teleporters, another set of cables that you can transfer video to a monitor. And this one comes with what we spoke about a minute ago, a 600 TVL line camera, an integrated power source, which this is a 2 or 3 cell or 4 cell. You plug it into the balance lead on your battery, and it powers not only the camera, but it also powers your transmitter. The transmitter has a built-in or integrated Spironet antenna, and this antenna, which is another Spironet, goes on the goggles. So again, it's an all-in-one package. It's a great option. It's a little bit higher in price point than the Horizon 1100 set, but the quality step's also higher. One other difference between this goggle and the 1100 is it's a 640 by 480, which is a full standard definition, not HD, but standard def, whereas the previous set of goggles we looked at were a 320 by 240. So there's actually a pretty big difference in your quality and your clarity on your video. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Dominator series of goggles. We have both sets out here because they're essentially the same goggle except for screen resolution. The Dominator V2 is still a standard def at 640 by 480, whereas the HDs have a 800 by 600 resolution for the LCDs. No, it's not 720p, it's not 1080p, but it is over SD quality at 800 by 600, so it's technically HD. Externally, you can see the differences are just color. You've got a white and blue and a white and gray. The other difference is going to be price. The Dominator goggles, we like them very much because they're modular, and we took the bays, the covers off the bays, so you can see what we're talking about. Just like in the other goggles, the receiver's on the left side, and you've got a head tracking bay on the right side. But in the other goggles, they're non-removable. So what you can do with these, and the reason we like them so much, is you can remove the receiving unit and replace it with either a newer, better unit or a different frequency like 2.4 or 1.3 gigahertz. So that's a fantastic option. That's why we use the Dominators ourselves. The V2s have a 32-degree field of view, and the HDs have a 45-degree field of view. And you'll notice a slight difference with the Dominator goggles versus the Attitudes. Before, the Attitudes had a single joystick on the top, where these have a set of buttons and 2 joysticks and a head tracking button. The reason that is because this has the same ability to do contrast and brightness on this joystick. Then you have your channel buttons and your volume buttons. But this joystick also controls the other neat feature about the Dom V2s and the HDs, which is a built-in DVR. Very cool feature. It takes a micro SD card right in the center, and you basically turn it on by a long button press. It'll flash a red light on a little LED built in right below the micro SD slot, and a single short button press turns on the DVR to start recording. So basically, it's the same goggle except for the resolution. Okay, we're going to do a quick recap of what we talked about. We've got the 4 sets of goggles here: the VS1100 from Horizon, the Attitude V2s, Dominator V2s, and the Dominator HDs. These are an all-in-one box solution. The VS1100s are 320 by 240 resolution. We have these 2 goggles are 640 by 480, and then the HDs are 800 by 600. They vary in quality, going up the scale, and in price. So the VS1100s, they're about $350. You go up to the Attitude V2s, and they're they range from about 435 to 470. The Dominator V2s are 375 in the 375 range, and the HDs are in the 575 range. Just keep in mind that with the Dominators, you have to purchase a receiver and antennas. The receivers will come with a rubber ducky or a little stick antenna. And if you want the head tracking capability, you'll have to also purchase a head tracker. But all in all, it's a great range of goggles, from the beginners all the way up to the cream of the crop, the HDs. And if you have any questions, please post at the bottom of the video. And we're going to try to put up some links also, so you can look at the specifications of the goggles yourselves. We want to say thanks to Oak Mountain Hobbies for letting us hold on to these goggles and making the video. And thanks to you guys for subscribing to the channel, and keep watching. We're going to have more coming. Thanks.